1431 AD, Thailand's invasion that destroyed Angkor Wat's power. The final year of Angkor's greatness begins beneath a sky bruised with gathering storm clouds. Smoke drifts low across the plains, carrying the bitter scent of distant fires. The land itself feels unsettled, as if it knows a kingdom is about to break. Angkor Wat, once radiant under the rising sun, stands dim and uneasy, its carved stones catching only the faintest light. Villagers murmur of the approaching Siamese army from Ayutthaya, a force disciplined, hungry, and driven by ambition. Their footsteps shake the earth long before they appear at the horizon. In the city, defenders patrol the worn causeways, their armor loose on bodies thinned by weeks of hunger. Every corridor, every gate, every temple whispers of strain and slow decay. Inside sacred halls, monks light candles that flicker against ancient murals, their chants trying to hold back the tide of fear. Mothers prepare water and rice for children who no longer sleep. Fathers sharpen spears with trembling hands, knowing they face an enemy stronger than anything the empire has seen in generations. This is the year when power shifts, when fire climbs the towers, when Angkor's light dims and the world watches a great empire fall. The morning begins with a heavy grey haze settling across the Cambodian plains. Ash drifts through the air like the first gentle warning of a coming storm. Farmers in the outer villages pause in their fields, sensing that the wind no longer carries the scent of rain but the distant breath of war. Rumors spread faster than traders can move. Caravans whisper that Ayutthaya has sent its greatest generals north, marching with unbroken confidence. Some claim the ground trembles beneath the weight of war elephants. Others swear they have seen smoke on the horizon where no village stands. Inside Angkor, the capital struggles to breathe beneath the weight of decline. Its moats lie clogged with weeds. Reservoirs shrink in the heat. The great causeways, once bustling with merchants, now echo with thin footsteps. The empire feels as if it is exhaling its final breath. Khmer soldiers patrol the crumbling walls with wary eyes. Their armor bears the scars of old battles. Their quivers feel light. The young among them pretend bravery they do not feel, while the older ones carry memories of a golden age slipping beyond reach. At the center of the city, Angkor Wat rises above the treetops, its towers cutting through the haze like the ribs of a silent giant. Its stones hold centuries of devotion, yet today they feel cold beneath the touch, as if the sacred ground itself braces for impact. Monks move through the corridors, their saffron robes glowing faintly in the dim light. They chant prayers for protection, their voices rising through the halls where kings once walked. The sound lingers in the air, fragile and trembling. As evening falls, a distant rumble breaks the stillness. It is not thunder, it is the measured rhythm of Ayutthaya's approach. The sound rolls across the plains, shaking loose dust from ancient carvings. Angkor hears the arrival of its fate long before the enemy appears. Families gather inside their homes, clutching each other as the ground quivers. The smell of burning wood reaches the city before the first soldiers do. Somewhere beyond the tree line, a village has already fallen. Its flames mark the beginning of the invasion. Khmer scouts return with haunted expressions. They confirm what the city feared. Ayutthaya has arrived in full. War elephants, siege engines, thousands of disciplined soldiers, a force large enough to unmake a kingdom. The king convenes his council inside the dim stone chamber of the royal palace. Their torches cast unsteady shadows over carved walls depicting ancient victories. None of those triumphs can help them now. The air grows thick with arguments, doubts, and pleas for impossible answers. Some advisors urge negotiation, but others know the Siamese come not to bargain but to break the last strength of Angkor. The king listens in silence, feeling the weight of generations pressing upon him. When he finally speaks, his voice is steady but heavy with sorrow. He orders the city to prepare for siege. The gates will be reinforced, food will be rationed. The people will take shelter near the temples. Soldiers will await the enemy on the outer perimeter. No one knows if these measures will be enough. Before dawn, Angkor wakes to the sight of smoke rising from the forests. The Siamese army emerges in lines of black and red. Shields glint, spears gleam. Elephants move like living fortresses, their tusks sheathed in iron. The world narrows to a single unstoppable tide. Drums thunder through the Siamese ranks. The sound reverberates across the fields, rolling up to Angkor's walls like a dark heartbeat. Every defender feels the vibration in their chest, as if the drums are claiming the land before the battle has even begun. The first attack comes swiftly. Arrows rise in arcs from the Siamese front lines, filling the sky with a storm of deadly shadows. They fall upon Angkor's walls in a harsh rain of wood and iron. Shields rattle, bodies fall, the siege begins. Khmer archers return fire, their arrows loosed with desperate resolve. Some find their mark, striking Siamese soldiers or embedding in elephant armor, but their numbers are too few. Their defense cracks under the disciplined rhythm of the attackers. The Siamese bring forward massive wooden siege towers, their wheels crush the dry earth. Soldiers climb the ladders within, preparing to scale Angkor's weakened walls. The defenders brace themselves, gripping spears until their knuckles whiten. In the heat of the assault, the Khmer fight with fierce loyalty. They push back invaders climbing the walls. They pour boiling water down the sides of the towers. They call upon ancestors and spirits for strength. The walls shake beneath the weight of their struggle. Yet, Ayutthaya's momentum does not falter. Their elephants push forward, slamming into the gates with tremendous force. Each impact sends splinters flying and stones crumbling. The gate groans under the strain, its hinges nearly torn from their sockets. Behind the walls, civilians hold their breath as the chaos rises. Mothers pull children into hidden corners. Elders recite prayers while gripping their rosaries. The sound of battle travels through the city like rolling thunder, shaking the faith of all who hear it. The king rides through the inner streets, offering what reassurance he can. His guards surround him like a living shield. His presence steadies the people, though his own heart beats with dread. He knows the city cannot withstand this assault forever. As the day drags on, smoke begins to drift over the battlements. The Siamese have ignited the outer wooden structures. Flames leap toward the sky, reflecting in the eyes of terrified families. The heat becomes unbearable, forcing some defenders to retreat. The fire spreads quickly. Angkor's outer districts are soon engulfed in orange light. Homes crackle and collapse. The smell of burning timbers mixes with the metallic scent of blood. The city becomes a canvas of smoke and shadow. Siamese soldiers carve a path through the weakened defenses. They push deeper into the city, their arrows whistling past crumbling stone. Khmer warriors give ground step by step. They fight bravely, but cannot hold against the waves of invaders. Market stalls fall underfoot as the battle surges through the streets. Goods once meant for trade scatter across the ground, trampled by boots and elephant footprints. A world of commerce and culture collapses into chaos. Monks attempt to evacuate sacred relics from the temples, carrying statues and scriptures toward safer halls. Their chants rise in urgency, echoing across courtyards stained by the dawn of destruction. Their steps quicken as the smoke thickens. Khmer commanders direct a desperate counterattack along the riverbank. They drive their spears into the advancing ranks, using their final strength to slow the enemy. Their cries ring out, filled with the will of a collapsing nation. But Ayutthaya's forces adapt quickly. Their generals call new orders, adjusting formations with seamless precision. The Siamese lines tighten and surge forward, overwhelming the defenders with disciplined force. By nightfall, the outer defenses are lost. The city glows with scattered fires, casting a red halo over the surrounding forests. The silhouettes of flaming rooftops push flickering light across the river's surface. Angkor looks like a world falling into its own shadow. Civilians flee into central courtyards, clutching what little they saved. The temples become crowded with trembling bodies. Some whisper prayers, others stare blankly, numb with shock. No one knows what the next day will bring. The Siamese soldiers rest just outside the inner walls, sharpening their blades under the glow of torches. War elephants lie chained beside their handlers, their breaths rising in slow columns of mist. The night belongs to anticipation. Inside Angkor, the king meets with his remaining generals. Their armor is dented, their faces streaked with soot. The maps before them show only loss. The king closes his eyes, hearing the distant crackle of burning homes. He knows the end draws closer. The defenders still alive gather near Angkor Wat for what they believe will be the final stand. They press their foreheads to the ancient stones. They ask for strength from the gods who once blessed their empire. The air grows heavy with grief and determination. As midnight deepens, the fires burn down to glowing embers, and a thick silence spreads across the battlefield. Both armies wait in that tense stillness, knowing dawn will bring the decisive blow. The darkness stretches long and merciless, and within that darkness Angkor trembles, its walls cracked, its people drained. its king standing alone beneath the shadow of his ancestors. The empire that once ruled Southeast Asia now prepares to face the moment when its centuries-long light will begin to fade. Dawn arrives without birdsong. Only the crackle of dying fires and the low murmur of marching feet disturb the heavy stillness. A pale light bleeds across Angkor's walls, revealing the scars carved into stone by the previous day's assault. The city stands, wounded, weary, and trembling. The Siamese army prepares for the final push. Soldiers gathered their shields, fastening straps with practiced motions. Generals pace through the ranks, their commands clipped and steady. War elephants rise from their resting positions, towering shapes outlined by the faint glow of morning. Inside Angkor, the remaining defenders brace themselves along the inner gate. Their bodies sag with exhaustion, their armor hangs loose, yet their eyes burn with the last embers of defiance. They know this is the hour that will define their fate. The king walks among them, offering a steady hand on the shoulder of each man he passes. His presence brings a momentary spark of courage, but beneath his calm expression, he carries the knowledge that they stand against a force that will not be stopped. Monks gather in the temple courtyards, chanting prayers that drift into the smoky air. Their voices rise in unison, echoing off stone towers that once symbolized the height of Khmer brilliance. Today, those same towers feel like tombs waiting to be sealed. The Siamese horns sound, deep and resonant. The earth shivers in reply. The final attack begins. Arrows lift into the sky and fall like a storm across the courtyards. Defenders raise shields, but many fall where they stand. The air fills with dust as Siamese soldiers advance in tight formation, each step measured, each movement precise. War elephants charge the inner gate. Their tusks, capped in gleaming metal, crash against the weakened structure. The wooden beams groan, splitting further with each impact. The defenders scramble to reinforce it, but the force of the beasts is overwhelming. The gate shatters, bursting inward with a roar that sends shards of broken timber scattering across the ground. Siamese infantry surge through the opening, filling the breach with a flood of bodies and steel. Khmer warriors push back fiercely, spears thrust forward with desperate strength. Shields clash, men grapple in clouds of smoke and dust. The defenders fight for every stone, every step, every breath, but the Siamese formations remain disciplined. They push forward layer by layer, tightening around the defenders like a coil. For each Khmer warrior who stands his ground, two more fall beside him. The city's strength bleeds out with every passing moment. Families huddle within Angkor Wat, listening to the upheaval outside. Mothers clutch their children close. Elders whisper prayers while staring at the flickering shadows cast by torches. The temple that once symbolized divine stability now feels fragile. Siamese soldiers breach the outer courtyard of Angkor Wat. Their footsteps echo beneath the long galleries, disturbing centuries of silence. The carved apsuras seem to watch with solemn eyes as the invaders move deeper into the complex. Khmer defenders rally near the central sanctuary, forming a tight ring of protection around their king. They face the invaders with a courage born not of hope but of duty. Their bodies sway with fatigue, yet they hold the line with unwavering resolve. Clashes erupt beneath the towering spires. The sound of steel against steel reverberates through the halls. The sacred murals shake with each impact. The defenders fight like men, attempting to hold back the tide with bare hands. The Siamese press forward, step by brutal step. Their spears pierce through weakened armor. Their shields shove aside exhausted bodies. The defenders fall back toward the central steps, leaving a trail of blood across the stone floor. As the pressure mounts, the king's guards circle tightly around him. They plead for him to flee to safety, but the king refuses to abandon his people. He stands tall beneath the shadow of Angkor Wat's towers, his voice steady even as chaos surrounds him. The Siamese breach the final defensive ring. A fierce struggle erupts near the sanctuary entrance. Elephants cannot reach this narrow space, leaving infantry to clash in close combat. The air fills with the sound of grunts, screams, and ringing steel. One by one, the last defenders fall. The king is pulled backward by his guards, who dragged him toward a hidden passage. They know the temple will fall within minutes. Their duty shifts from defending the city to preserving the line of Khmer rulers. Through the narrow stone corridor, the king is led outside the complex and into the depths of the surrounding forest. The path is ancient, used only in times of desperate need. The jungle swallows them with humid silence. With the king gone, The final defenders make their last stand. They fight with the strength of men who know they are buying time for something greater than themselves. Their blades flash in the dim light, their cries echo through the shrine. But no stand can last forever. The Siamese overpower them, claiming the sanctuary and securing Angkor Wat. Torches are raised. Victory cries ring out. The empire's spiritual heart has fallen. Beyond the temple, fires spread across the city. Wooden homes crumble into embers. Smoke curls into the sky in towering columns. The air becomes thick and acrid, coating every stone with soot. Angkor's skyline glows like the dying embers of a once mighty fire. The Siamese army sweeps through the city, capturing strategic points and gathering spoils. Statues are toppled. Storehouses are emptied. The nerve center of the Khmer Empire is dismantled piece by piece, its strength broken beyond repair. Families flee into the forests, guided by monks and guards who know hidden paths. They move silently through the undergrowth, carrying what little they could save. Their tears leave tracks in the soot on their faces. The king's entourage reaches the safety of the deeper jungle. They collapse beneath towering trees, listening as distant thunder blends with the muffled roar of the burning city. Grief weighs heavily on every shoulder. For days, smoke stains the sky above Angkor. The fires eventually die, leaving behind charred ruins and quiet devastation. The once vibrant capital becomes a skeleton of its former self, emptied of life and echoing with the memory of its fall. The Siamese do not remain long. They take what resources and captives they can. Then they withdraw, leaving Angkor behind, knowing it no longer holds the power it once wielded. The city is abandoned to the creeping jungle. The surviving Khmer relocate southward, establishing themselves near Phnom Penh. Life begins anew, smaller and quieter, yet still enduring. Angkor remains behind them like a ghost they cannot return to but will never forget. The temples grow silent. Vines slither over their roofs. Roots crack through stone floors. Birds and monkeys claim the high galleries. Angkor fades beneath the steady march of time, swallowed slowly by the forest that once feared its greatness. Centuries later, explorers will stumble upon the ruins and marvel at the grandeur that still clings to every surface. They will wonder how such beauty fell. They will feel the remnants of sorrow hanging in the air. Angkor's fall in 1431 becomes more than a historical moment. It becomes a symbol of impermanence, a reminder that even the grandest creations can crumble when the tides of power shift. Its stones endure, whispering stories to anyone willing to listen. The invasion that destroyed Angkor Wat's power reshaped Southeast Asia forever. Ayutthaya rose, the Khmer navigated new realities, and the jungle kept watch over the bones of a lost world, guarding its secrets with relentless patience. History remembers the flames. It remembers the cries. It remembers the moment when the light of an empire dimmed beneath the pressure of a rising kingdom. And it remembers the city that once touched the heavens, now resting beneath tangled roots. Until next time, stay safe and see you in the next history.